Hey, Emiliano, this is Emiliano Grodsky. He is CEO from Bitfarms. Like I said, Emiliano, packed house here for your presentation in the chat. They were super excited about learning from you guys. And you guys just received approval for a listing on the NASDAQ. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Hi, Brent. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. The ticker you have proposed is the same as your Toronto listing, right? BITF.
Yes, sir.
Exciting news.
Well, we are super happy. This is the conclusion of almost 5 years of work, teamwork, and we are very happy to continue, building the infrastructure for the economy of the present and the future.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I wish you guys the best of luck with the NASDAQ listing. I guess you'll hear when you guys are going to be actually going live soon. You don't know that information yet, correct?
Well, I believe that we already received the approval from NASDAQ listing in the second tier global capital markets, and we are waiting from them to understand when will be the next week, the first day of trading.
I gotcha. Awesome. Well, why don't you take it away here, Emiliano, and tell us a little bit about Bitfarms. Chat is super excited to hear from you.
Well, I will make a little introduction. I'm Argentinian. I grew up in Argentina, and as you know, I'm an entrepreneur. Here, I did my master's degree in the evaluation and inflation. Right, this is the only way to survive to do business here. And in 2016, I saw BTC and Ethereum for the first time, and quickly I understood how BTC mining and economics worked. Since that day, my life completely changed. From that moment, I started building Bitfarms with my friend Nicolas Bontas, who is my co-founder and the chairman of the company. And we started mining Ethereum in a garage with $50,000. We did an experiment for a month, and then we quickly understood that we had to go to North America to find more equipment and cheap energy and the proper conditions. We found in a crypto forum Matt Bashon, who lived outside Montreal and had been mining BTC and Ethereum since the beginning of 2015. We contacted him, and he and his team helped us to finally, then partnership. And together we professionalized the operations, the quality of the facilities, and we understood that we should vertically integrate all the operation to be very efficient. We was public in Tel Aviv in the end of 2017, and then we decided to delist the company and be more efficient, and listed the company in the Toronto Stock Exchange in the venture capital. We traded there for 2.5 years, and we decided in the beginning of this year for work to put our company in the big leagues in NASDAQ. Because we believe that the dimension of our company and the way that we building the industry and the standard of the crypto mining industry need to be there for have the proper liquidity and continuous raising capital for develop our pipeline. Well, I will present the corporate deck of the company for try to be more specific in the presentation. Bitfarms has been building and operating industrial Bitcoin mining facilities since 2017, and Bitfarms provide to the investor the direct exposure to Bitcoin and Bitcoin mining without the complexity of securing power, constructing advanced data center facilities, and operating Bitcoin mining hardware at the industrial scale. Next slide, please. Bitfarms owns and operates one of the largest mining operations in North America with 69 megawatt of build-out capacity, and expect to have 168 megawatt build-out by the end of the 2021 and 210 megawatt by the end of 2022. huge pipeline. The way Bitfarms has already deployed more than 6,500 miners through the end of April 2021, and continues to aggressively increase our hash rate capacity. Bitfarms miners are passively cooled by the Canadian environment and are highly energy efficient. 96% of the energy that we consume goes directly to generating revenue, versus approximately 83% average for industrial data centers, the traditional data centers. We have 100% owner, fully serviced electrical engineering subsidiary, providing site planning, engineering, and maintenance to reduce cost. Advances 24/7, 365 command center and operation in-house for repair the machines, and keep the hash rate high. We are the first cryptocurrency company to successfully go through the front door of the OSC with the long-form prospectus audited with one of the big four accounting firms. We use PwC, and we are very excited about that. Strong management team with experience in data centers, technology, financing. Enabled the board through key addition of new direction in 2020. This is the growth that we have in our pipeline. We come from 780 petahash in the half of 2020. We are now at 1.45 exahash. It's approximately between 85 and 90%, 0.85 and 0.90% of the Bitcoin network right now. And we will reach at the end of this year 3 exahash. And in the middle of the next year, 5.5. And our goal is 8,000 petahash at the end of 2022. We already fixed the inventory of the miners. This is our leadership team. I'm the CEO of the company, Nicolas Bontan, the co-founder, the executive chairman. Mauro Ferrara is the CFO, Geoff Murphy, the president. Ben, the director of mining operation. Benoit, the director of operation. Nathaniel Port, the director of finance, and Darcy Donnell, the vice president of corporate development. This is our board of directors. Pierre Saturecchia, Brian Howlett, and Andres Filkenstein, they are our independent board member. And, well, we operate 5 data centers, advanced Bitcoin mining facilities in Quebec, Canada, a 6th site in Quebec, and 7th site in Argentina, who are under development. Each mining facility in Quebec is powered by inexpensive green hydropower. It's a huge subject these days, especially with our friend Elon Musk. Say that we are 100% green. That is very good. It's part of our vision of the business. The miners are efficiently maintained by our proprietary management system and our highly trained technicians. I don't know if Ben is here with us for present this slide, or I can continue. Well, we come from Q4 19 with 965 petahash, and we grew 24% to Q4 2020. And then we grew the next quarter, Q4 to Q1 2021, another 24%. We are planned to grow to 110% to the end of this year, and another, from this point, 8 exahash, 167% to the end of 2022. Hi, Ben, how are you?
Hi, nice to be here, everybody. My name is Ben Gagnon. I'm the Director of Mining Operations. And yeah, I think this is a great place for me to jump in here and provide some more color to what we're doing and how we're going to grow over time.
Perfect, go ahead.
So, great, so we've got our growth strategy laid out here. This not only lays out how we're going to grow over time, but where we're going to see that hash rate growth across all of our different facilities. both our facilities that are currently in operation and the new facilities that we're developing here in Quebec and Argentina. So we've got dramatic growth plans planned, and significant contributions and deposits made on all the equipment. In terms of the facilities and the infrastructure that we're building to facilitate all this equipment, we do have the 69 megawatts worth of green hydroelectricity online and fully operational today. We're building out and significant more hydroelectric infrastructure in Quebec right now, and we're going to have 168 megawatts of hydroelectric energy in Quebec fully installed and operational by the end of the year, which will grow with the Argentinian expansion the following year to about 358 megawatts. So this is more than enough to operate all of our existing equipment and all of the equipment that's coming down the pipeline and provide us with some further growth opportunities should the market, present some interesting opportunities for us. We've not only been growing in hash rate, but we've also been growing in our efficiency over time. What we can see here is that we've had a dramatic increase in hash rate, but at the same time, we've also more than improved our efficiency by double. So for every hash rate, for every hash that we make, it's now taken us half the power and therefore half the cost than it did when we started 4 years ago in 2017. So it's a continuous improvement that we have in our equipment in our facilities, designed to both continuously drive further revenue creation as well as reduce our costs and increase our gross mining margins. In terms of Bitcoin production, which is clearly the most valuable metric for any Bitcoin miners, how many Bitcoins we produce and what cost. We mined more Bitcoin last year than any of our publicly traded peers. We did so completely in North America with hydroelectric power. Last year we mined 3,014 Bitcoin. That's a reasonable amount more than our next biggest competitor and significantly greater than our US competitors. In terms of the valuation amongst our publicly traded peers, we believe that we're one of the most undervalued publicly traded Bitcoin mining companies out there because the market cap does not match our production rates and our production costs. So if you break this down on a basis of how much Bitcoin we're producing relative to the valuation that the market's given that hash rate, what you can see here is that we're on the low end of the spectrum, whereas the miners on the right are on the very, very high end of the spectrum, indicating that they're relatively, overvalued compared to the other side of the spectrum. I believe that this gives us significant amounts of upside potential as we move towards the US and get exposure to those greater capital markets and those greater valuations in the industry. In terms of looking at this in terms of an enterprise value, we're going to get a very, very similar metric. This is a more clear metric that tries to take away some of the ambiguity around the differences between costs and how much Bitcoin people have on their balance sheet, and really get down to the core function of, what's the actual value of the company with all, that's simplified relative to their hash rate. And what we can see here is even by this metric, we're also here right at the very bottom of the spectrum, meaning we've got tremendous amounts of upside potential as we move towards these more lucrative markets in the US. Since the beginning of this year, we're also really proud to announce that we've been storing every single Bitcoin that we've been mining into custody and onto our balance sheet for long-term holding. So far, we've added, as you can see here, according to our Q1, we've added several hundred Bitcoin. It's the most amount of Bitcoin of any of our publicly traded peers year to date that have mined and added to their balance sheet. And what this has done is this has allowed us to not only produce all this, great value for our shareholders at the time that we mine it, but also preserve the upside potential of Bitcoin as we grow. And so when we started this program, Bitcoin was only around $30,000 US. currently Bitcoin is trading over 50 with a high over 60,000, which meant that we've, with that all-time high around 60,000, we ultimately doubled those profits relative to 30. So it's a very important program. It's one that we're going to continue doing, and we're going to have increasing amounts of Bitcoin securitized through our shares. And it's an amount that's going to continue growing over time. So we're able to constantly increase our amount of Bitcoin on our balance sheet, and we're doing so always at a cost that's significantly below market. So we can preserve that profit margin for our shareholders and give them tremendous upside.
Well, Ben, later in the presentation, we will explain how works, the proxy, of our company to invest, in BTC, and the difference between, the three different scenarios, to hold BTC for explain properly to the investor, right?
Guys, we got about 5 minutes left here. I want to give you guys some time to answer some questions. We got a ton of questions that were popping in the chat. So if you guys have a couple more good points from the slides, give those a shout, and we want to have you for a couple questions at least, if you don't mind.
Maybe then we can show the facilities and then explain how works our metrics, right? This is Cowansville, our first data center with 4 megawatt, Magog with 10 megawatt, Farnham 10 megawatt, 15 megawatt San Jacinto, 30 megawatt Sherbrooke 1, Sherbrooke 2,
Sorry, my PowerPoint just crashed.
Don't worry.
There we go.
Well, we have on development 210 megawatt in Argentina. Next.
Sorry, it's acting funky here.
Oh, okay. This is Volta, our own owned full services electrical engineering and contracting with 50 people and 37 electricians based in Quebec. Our repair lab.
Then maybe we just skip ahead to that final slide here.
Yeah. Well, Ben, please go ahead and explain, how works our company in terms of the benefit on all BTC.
Yeah, I think the easy comparison for us is like a junior mining company. We provide exposure to the underlying commodity, but we do so, through a proxy of production and lower cost. And so what we'll see here is that we generally track the Bitcoin price more or less daily over time. But when Bitcoin price starts surging, our profitability actually goes up dramatically, because what happens with Bitcoin mining is our costs are fixed, but the upside is unlimited. And so we will stay relatively flat with the market, trading in parity. But when the market really starts to show very high exponential growth, Bitcoin miners start showing even faster growth, because it's all upside and it's all potential. And so that's what we see here. Is we stayed relatively flat through most of 2020. And as soon as we get into as soon as we get into December and January, we really start to see all the public companies start to outperforming Bitcoin. And that's something that we should expect to continue over time. It's a fixed amount of Bitcoin at a lower cost of acquisition than people can buy it for, and it's constantly growing every single day.
Awesome. I want to ask you guys, we got time for about one question here, and there was a couple questions in the chat, but I think you guys kind of answered those in your presentation. So I wanted to ask you guys one here. Some of the chat was showing interest in one of the slides that you had up when we're talking about your, 100% renewable engineering part. I just wanted to ask, how does that renewable aspect, engineering aspect, influence some of your other facilities? Like, how are you guys using that for operations?
I think the Quebec hydropower situation is really an inexpensive source of power for us that we wanted to take advantage of. So for us, it's more about the economics, I think, than ESG angle. The ESG angle is obviously an important one and a good one to have, but for us, we're profit maximalists, and we develop these opportunities because we believe, you know, renewable sources are very competitive, especially hydro.
Right. Gotcha. Awesome. Okay. I mean, I wish we could, you know, keep chatting with you guys. This is a super interesting topic. We're going to have to get you back for some more Benzinga content at some point. Where can some of the viewers get some more information? I guess we're popping up there, bitfarms.io. A couple of chatters were asking if they could get some of those slides that you guys were sharing. Can you find that info on your website there?
Well, yes, it's in the website.
Okay, awesome. So we have Emiliano Grodzki and Ben Gagnon from Bitfarms. Thanks a lot for joining, guys. Have a good rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.